WBRZ News 2 at 10.
Tonight, friends and colleagues remember a longtime LSU professor known for assisting in the university's award-winning Cold Case Initiative, which included reopening cold cases from the Civil Rights era. News 2's David Hamilton explains the significant impact of Stanley Nelson's work.
Sylvia, what stood out in Nelson's work was his innovative investigative methods of interviewing former KKK members and their families, along with researching decades-old cases to bring justice to families and to always get both sides. Stanley Nelson started his career in Ferriday, Louisiana as an editor for the Concordia Sentinel. He gained fame investigating unsolved murders of black men in Louisiana, becoming a big inspiration for LSU's Cold Case Initiative.
Well, he worked on a number of cases, and I think, as far as I'm concerned, 3 of them were solved by him.
LSU journalism professor Chris Drew says many of those cases involved the Ku Klux Klan, earning Nelson a nomination for the Pulitzer Prize.
One of the things he learned in talking to a lot of people on these cases was that often the children of the Klansmen knew things, and the spouses, and would talk. Stanley always said if a guy was doing violent things in the Klan away from home, he probably wasn't treating his wife and children very well either, and so
he became an adjunct professor, continuing to bring justice and closure to families through his work and encouraging the next generation.
2009 started the LSU Cold Case program, and at first students were writing public records requests, going to Washington, getting the records.
That soon changed as over the years students began working alongside him, tracking down documents, interviewing witnesses, and writing stories. In 2021, students worked with Nelson on a 1960 cold case in Monroe where a white man owned a sanitation business, shot 5 of his black workers, claiming self-defense. He was never prosecuted.
Our students were able to show through FBI interview records and interviews they did themselves, including with a 93-year-old woman and a 94-year-old woman who knew things or witnessed things but had never been interviewed by law enforcement, that the man and his son had laid an ambush for these workers because he owed them back pay that he didn't want to pay them, and when they came for their pay, he shot them and then planted knives on them.
In 2022, Nelson and his students won a national award and even gained the attention of the governor over a story about a pair of Southern University students killed during a protest by a sheriff deputy in 1972.
Did a 4-part series re-examining the case, and the end result was then Governor John Bell Edwards read the stories. He said, I was only 6 when this happened in 1972, but I read the stories that the LSU group did, and he issued a formal apology to the victim's family on behalf of the state.
Drew says Nelson's work will continue as cold case students research one of Stanley's case involving a 24-year-old black man who disappeared after being stopped by deputies and Klansmen in central Louisiana. His body still has not been found. Sylvia.